She dropped the metal bucket, and the water splashed across the floor just as her aunt's voice cracked through the house. Amara. Are you trying to waste everything in this house? Her heart jumped into her throat. I'm sorry, Auntie Grace, it slipped. Sorry. Sorry won't clean that floor. Get down and wipe it with your hands if you have to. Amara knelt immediately, her fingers trembling as they soaked up the dirty water. At 13, this was her life now. Just months ago, everything had been different. Her father, Emeka, had been alive. Things were not easy, but there was laughter in their small home. Then sickness came, sudden and cruel, and within weeks, he was gone. 7 children. One struggling mother, Mama Ngozi. And no money for school. Amara remembered the day her uncle, Uncle Chinedu, came. He had sat like a savior, his voice calm and reassuring. Send her with me, he told Mama Ngozi. I'll make sure she goes to school. She's a bright girl. Her mother had held her hand tightly that night. You'll study hard, won't you, Amara? She whispered. I will, Mama, Amara had replied, her eyes shining with hope. But hope had a short lifespan in Uncle Chinedu's house. The first few days had been quiet. Observing. Waiting. Then the chores began. Wake up early, Auntie Grace instructed. Sweep before everyone gets up. Then it became more. Cooking. Washing. Cleaning rooms that were not hers. Packing meals for children who barely acknowledged her existence, Toby and Ada. Each morning, she watched Toby and Ada walk out in neat uniforms, laughing, carefree. Uncle Chinedu, when will I start school? She asked one evening, her voice careful. He didn't even look up. Focus on what you're told to do. Auntie Grace scoffed. School. With what money? Be grateful you're even here. That sentence stayed with her. Be grateful. Grateful for waking before dawn. Grateful for eating leftovers. Grateful for being invisible. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. And slowly, the truth settled in. She wasn't brought here to learn. She was brought here to serve. One afternoon, as she scrubbed Toby's shoes, she paused. They were new. Clean. Expensive. Her own feet were bare. She swallowed hard, blinking back tears. This won't be my life forever, she whispered to herself. If you're already feeling Amara's story, take a moment to like and subscribe, you don't want to miss what happens next. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Amara sat on the thin mat in her small space, a cramped corner that felt more like a storage area than a room. Her eyes fell on a pile of old books tucked in one corner. Torn. Dusty. Forgotten. She hesitated. Then slowly reached for one. The pages were worn, but the words were still there. Her fingers traced the lines. She struggled at first, sounding the words out quietly. It felt like stepping into a world she thought had been taken from her. From that night, everything changed. She began to steal moments. Not just at night, but whenever she could. When the house was quiet. When chores were done. When no one was watching. She read. Sometimes her eyes burned from exhaustion. Sometimes her body begged for rest. But she kept going. One afternoon, as she sat behind the house flipping through a book, a voice startled her. You like reading? She turned quickly. It was a neighbor, a woman known as Auntie Beezy, who often passed by. Amara hesitated. Yes. Auntie Beezy smiled slightly. You're teaching yourself? Amara nodded. That's not easy, Auntie Beezy said. But it means something. From then on, Auntie Beezy would sometimes stop by, correcting her, guiding her. Small help, but it made a difference. Amara improved. Slowly. Quietly. But not without fear. One evening, Auntie Grace's voice rang out suddenly. Amara. Where are you? Her heart raced. The book in her hand felt like evidence of a crime. I'm coming, she shouted, quickly hiding it. Auntie Grace narrowed her eyes when she appeared. What were you doing? Nothing, Ma. Better be, she snapped. There's still work to do. Amara nodded, but her chest was tight. She knew one thing clearly now. If they found out, everything would be taken away. But she also knew something else. She couldn't stop. Because for the first time since coming to Uncle Chinedu's house, she felt something growing inside her again. Hope. And this time, Amara wasn't going to let anyone take it. Days passed, and Amara's secret became her only source of strength. Every quiet moment was an opportunity. Every second mattered. One afternoon, while washing clothes behind the house, she overheard two women talking by the fence. They said the scholarship exam is free this year, one of them said. Yes, for students who can pass it. Government program, the other replied. Amara's hands froze in the soapy water. Scholarship. Her heart began to race. That night, she could barely sleep. The word echoed in her mind again and again. This could be my chance, she whispered. But almost immediately, reality hit her. Uncle Chinedu would never allow it. Auntie Grace would never agree. Still, the thought refused to leave her. The next day, she approached Auntie Beezy carefully. Auntie Beezy, please, I heard something yesterday, Amara said, her voice low. What is it? The scholarship exam, do you know about it? Auntie Beezy looked at her for a moment, then nodded slowly. I do. Amara stepped closer. Can I take it? There was a pause. Does your uncle? No. Auntie Beezy asked. Amara shook her head. Auntie Beezy sighed. Then it won't be easy. I don't need easy, Amara said quickly, her voice shaking but determined. I just need a chance. Something in her eyes made Auntie Beezy soften. All right, she said quietly. But you have to be careful. Very careful. From that moment, everything became a risk. Auntie Beezy helped her get the information she needed. The date. The location. What to expect. Amara studied harder than ever before. Her body was tired. Her hands were always busy. But her mind was alive. The closer the exam day came, the stronger her fear grew. What if she got caught? What if she failed? What if everything she was risking meant nothing? The morning of the exam arrived quietly. Auntie Grace, I'm going to the market, Amara said, keeping her voice steady. Don't waste time, Auntie Grace replied sharply. Amara nodded, her heart pounding as she stepped out of the house. Every step felt heavy. She clutched the small paper Auntie Beezy had given her and followed the directions carefully. When she reached the exam center, she stopped. Students were everywhere. Dressed neatly. Confident. Prepared. For a moment, she felt small. Out of place. Do I really belong here? She whispered. Then she remembered the long nights. The hidden books. The sacrifices. She straightened her shoulders. Yes. I do. The exam was harder than she expected. Some questions made her heart sink. Others gave her hope. She held on. She tried. She refused to give up. When it was over, she walked out slowly, unsure of what to feel. Days passed. Then weeks. Every day felt longer than the last. Then one afternoon, Auntie Beezy came running. "Amara," she called. Amara rushed out. "What happened?" Auntie Beezy held her shoulders, smiling widely. "You passed." For a second, Amara didn't move. "What?" "You passed, Amara. You got the scholarship." Tears filled her eyes instantly. I did it." "Yes," Auntie Beezy said. "You did it." Joy rushed through her, but it was quickly followed by fear. "What about my uncle?" she whispered. That joy would not last long. When Auntie Grace found out, the house shook with anger. "You did what?" she shouted. Amara stood still, her hands shaking. "You went behind our backs." "I just wanted to go to school," Amara said softly. "School?" Auntie Grace laughed bitterly. "Who do you think you are?" Uncle Chinedu's face was hard. "You've been lying to us," he said. "I wasn't lying, sir. I just—" "Enough," he snapped. "You've become too stubborn." That night, Amara sat quietly in her small space. She knew one thing clearly. She couldn't stay anymore. Before dawn, she packed the few things she had. Her hands trembled, but her mind was made up. "I'm leaving," she whispered to herself. And just like that, she walked away. Years passed. Uncle Chinedu's house was no longer what it used to be. Toby had changed. "What kind of friends are you keeping?" Uncle Chinedu shouted one evening. Toby shrugged carelessly. "You won't understand." Ada was no different. "I'm tired of this house," she snapped one day before storming out. There was no discipline. No direction. The house that once controlled Amara was now falling apart. One evening, Uncle Chinedu sat quietly, his head in his hands. "Where did we go wrong?" he muttered. Auntie Grace sighed. "I don't know anymore." The television played in the background. "And today, we celebrate one of the brightest young professionals in the country," the presenter said. Neither of them paid attention at first. Until a familiar face appeared on the screen. Auntie Grace froze. "Chinedu," she said slowly. He looked up. And then he saw her. Amara. Confident. Successful. Smiling. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "Is that her?" Auntie Grace whispered. Uncle Chinedu's voice was low. "Amara." Silence filled the room. The same girl they had treated like nothing was now everything they never expected. Days later, Uncle Chinedu stood outside Mama Ngozi's house. "I want to see her," he said. Mama Ngozi looked at him carefully. "Why now?" "She's my niece," he replied. "I need to talk to her." Word got to Amara. "He's here," someone told her. Amara went quiet. Memories flooded back. The chores. The insults. The hunger. The silence. She took a deep breath. "What did he say?" she asked calmly. "He wants to see you." Amara shook her head slowly. "No. Are you sure?" She nodded. He had his chance. Outside, Uncle Chinedu waited. But Amara never came out. And for the first time, he understood what it meant to be shut out. Some doors, once closed, never open again. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elite Story TV for more powerful stories like this. And turn on your notifications so you will be notified when a new video drops.